object would come. And again, kudos to the Harvard scientists that brought that point up. Not the point I'm making, but that thing was under a intelligent control. And again, had we not been to Mexico on the expedition, which right now Phase 3 is underway, and it's leading us into Latin America and South America, following the leads of all of the people that are finding the different artifacts, and Jesse G., my guy who's the director, people from all over South America, Latin America, and Mexico contact him. And I just was showing this the other day. I didn't even know this, but there's on eBay people selling from the same area. There's so many of these artifacts that it's kind of like you've got to go to the different strata or different depths of soil to find them. But everything we find is in real time, and we locate them and dig them on camera. We have them and this is important, there's a shot on the carousel showing that we make sure that everybody understands that here's the area, here's it being filmed in real time, and some of it's laborious footage, but we have to prove to people that this is going on. And isn't it interesting that as I've talked on your show since we've known each other for decades, the Smithsonian keeps coming up. And by the way, the 31,000 artifacts that Jarlsrud had in the same area, the general area, I mean, we're talking about within a 50 to 100 square mile radius of where we found these artifacts. The point that's critical is that they end up in the Smithsonian and the trail ends there. So the Smithsonian is the gatekeeper. I documented in one of my films that, literally there were hundreds and totally, in total or in totality, thousands of newspaper articles talking about so-and-so was a farmer in the, Illinois area or Cahokia Mounds or the mound-building areas of the surrounding states, and they find giant skeletons. They go to the Smithsonian, they disappear, and for the record, people are now breaking, ranks and telling what the Smithsonian really has. For instance, the Egyptian citadel in the Grand Canyon, the Smithsonian's official narrative, that didn't exist. There was nobody by the name of the famous explorer that claimed to have found the Grand Canyon citadel. There's only one problem with that. They have his entire notes and all of the artifacts that he took out of the Grand Canyon. In our documentary film, and it's on the trailer too. And so getting back to the original point, there are over at least that we've uncovered that are in the glyphs, 12 to 14, because the other two are being deciphered right now, of agreements. And when you see agreements going back, 7,000, 8,000 years between the aliens and humans, whether they're in India, whether they're in Egypt, whether they're in Angkor Wat, all over there are these secret agreements. So it's fascinating that right now, as again, the skies above are telling a very different story.
Tell us about the Egyptian and alien connections in the America's film.
Well, the trailer is on the Coast to Coast website, and I would encourage everybody. The film, and I want to make it clear, the film is right now in production. We've got literally terabytes of film that we've got acquired of our own, and stuff and interviews and everything. But the thing that's interesting about the film is it's the alien Egyptian connection in the Americas, because a standard line of Powell and the Smithsonian was, these Egyptians, they never traveled all over. There's no Egyptian artifacts in the United States. Well, the place, we're filled with them. They're found all over the place. So what's critical about this is you cannot separate the Egyptians. So isn't it fascinating that, in essence, in Egyptian history, they were the gods, okay? The original oldest dynasty in Egyptian history, they claim to be the gods that came from the stars, and that's the standard thing, whether you're dealing with, by the way, the word star in Hebrew can also mean messenger.
Monday is Christopher Columbus Day.
Columbus, and the naming of America, they claim, classic history says it was named after Amerigo Vespucci. But when you get into the ancient history of the Americas, the United States in the United States, forgive me, the North American continent and the South American continent were basically named Ameruca, Ameruca. That meant the land of the plumed serpent. And interestingly enough, that's what Quetzalcoatl is all about. And we know the history of the Mayan, the Incan, and the Aztecs, but going back even further than that, we ultimately arrive, and here's the bottom line, we arrive at giants being in the Americas. We arrive at heavenly beings, always portrayed with wings. People that want to take on Columbus Day, they got to go back 9,000 years. And Cairo, and I've said this before, which is fascinating, literally means city of Mars or Mars encampment.
That's right.
And now we're finding out that Mars has water. We're finding out that there might be life on some of the Martian microscopic life. And everything we were told wasn't true about Mars is now coming to pass.
Stephen, give me your definition of the Nephilim.
Well, I think that the